a world of fun and fantasy, and ever-changing views, and computer terminology. Commodore's news. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.
Hi, I'm Graham and welcome back to the Commodore Cave. This is episode 8 and we're down to just 3 finalists now, where I consider each of the models here in the cave and try and pick out the one that I think is the favourite. Last week, the Amiga 4000 desktop took a seat at the sidelines. And we did get feedback from a lot of you, so let's have a look at the poll results and see what you thought about that model. Vote was 13%, as this being their favourite model of all. 76%, wow, that's high, put it as their top 5. Only 8% said it was their bottom 5 and 3% really didn't like it at all. Thank you for filling out the poll. You'll have another opportunity on this week's model. It's time to find out now which model will be joining it today. So let's go to the wheel. I know that's contentious, but as I've said all along, these are hard decisions. Oh no, not the beloved Amiga 1200. That was one of the favourites. What did you think about that? Don't forget to fill out the poll where you place the A1200. The link is right there. And I'll review that again next week. The Amiga 1200. This was the wedge shape again, but a massive improvement on the previous models and arguably one of their most successful. It came with 2 meg of chip RAM as standard, a 68040 CPU, and it was the first model to offer the AGA chipset. It ran at 25 MHz and it could display 256 colours simultaneously on the screen without using any tricks to do it. Around the back, and this one has a card in it for VGA, and on this side we have got our floppy disk drive, and that's it. This computer is twice as fast as the A500 and it could display up to 16.8 million colours. This one came with both Kickstart 3 and Workbench 3 as well. Even though it comes in the wedge shape, it is remarkably expandable. Over here we have the PCM CIA slot and have an adapter for that, and then you can simply use these cards to transfer information or store information backwards and forwards on it. This is the last model genuinely targeting the home enthusiast. It was released in October of 1992. At that stage the price was about $599 US. Estimates suggest that several 100,000 1200s were sold during its production run. But as usual, Commodore produced vague statistics. The Amiga 1200 computer was popular. It was compact and sleek. Some of its key selling points included its powerful new CPU, the Motorola 68E CO20. Commodore emphasised its advanced multimedia capabilities, its enhanced performance and its affordability. It was relatively cheap compared to some of the other models. This positioned the Amiga 1200 as a versatile home computer suitable for gaming but also productivity and multimedia applications. They promoted the Amiga 1200 as an ideal platform for creative users interested in digital art, music and video editing. Overall, the marketing campaign aimed to showcase the Amiga 1200 as a well-rounded and accessible computing solution for a diverse range of users. It remained in production until 1994, when it went down with the other models in the Commodore bankruptcy. But that wasn't quite the end of it. In 1995 it was resurrected by the German electronics company Escom and came back as the Amiga 1200 Magic Pack. Unfortunately, because of the gap in production, competition kept advancing and moved ahead of the model. To make matters even worse, developers had lost confidence in the platform, and software that took real advantage of the Amiga 1200 capabilities was scarce and difficult to find. Escom itself went into bankruptcy in 1996, leading to the discontinuation of the Amiga 1200 and the end of its production. If you wanted to buy one today, what could you expect to pay for it? I went online and checked for recently sold Amiga 1200 computers. They seemed to pop up quite regularly, but to my surprise, there weren't a lot of listings. I did manage to find these 5. If you're patient, you may still secure one for as little as $500. But at the other end of the scale, you could pay as much as $2,000. This was the Amiga that returned me to the fold in 2012. In that year, I bought my Commodore 1200 locally for around about $300 Australian dollars. Then in 2014, I was very lucky and I was able to buy a new old stock Magic Pack from Petro Chichenko at a delivered cost of only $300 Australian dollars. I can't wait to hear what ChatGPT has got to say about the Amiga 1200. Chat.
The Amiga 1200 is a desktop computer powered by a Motorola 68 EC020 processor running at 14 MHz. It offered improved performance compared to its predecessors with enhanced graphics and sound capabilities, making it suitable for gaming, multimedia applications, and productivity tasks. The Amiga 1200 also introduced the Advanced Graphics Architecture (AGA), which provided support for higher color depths and resolutions. Its compact design and affordable price made it popular among home users and enthusiasts. Despite its technical advancements, the Amiga 1200 faced stiff competition from other computing platforms and eventually saw its production discontinued after Commodore's bankruptcy in 1994. I do like this Amiga and place it as my 3rd favorite model.
Well, I'm not surprised by that, chat. The A1200 is a wonderful computer. This is the first model that we've both agreed on.
It sure was a great model, Graham.
Thanks, chat. Appreciate it. Lucy, hand me this time. Hand me for this computer. Lucy, that was $5. By far the best you've given. Lucy really loves the A1200 apparently.
Hey you. Yes you. Since you're still watching, how about clicking that like button right now? Go on, you know you want to.
Well, after that, let's check out the leaderboard and see where we stand today. I placed the 1200 as my 3rd favourite. That was hard. And of course chat agreed and placed it at number 3 as well. Lucy really liked it with $5, best yet. And the poll taken from last week's model, the A4000D, had 13% of you ranking it as your favourite computer. And in summary, here are my reasons. The pros, the cons, and my feelings about it. The A1200 was the very first Commodore here in the cave. It reignited my passion for Commodore computers back in 2012. If not for this model, the Commodore cave simply would not exist today. And I am so torn between these final 3 models. I just think that the A1000 and the A4000T pip it at the post, but it really is a coin toss at this point. And until very recently, the The 1200 was my workhorse in the Commodore cave, and it now joins the others at the sidelines. Don't forget to fill out the poll where you place the A1200. The link is right there, and I'll review that again next week. And then there were two. What a lineup. What do you think? Will it be the very first Amiga model, the 1000, or the very last Amiga model, the 4000 Tower? Now that we're down to two champions, next week will be the final. So next week will be a two-part special where the Commodore Cave champion will at last be revealed. So I hope you can join me next week for that. How do you choose? Well, that's it for me today from the cave. Hope you found it interesting. If you did, leave us a thumbs up or a comment. And until next week, see ya. Are you keeping up with the Commodore? 'Cause the Commodore is keeping up with you.